Following our 3-0 win against Crystal Palace in midweek, I was of course tempted to make a tactical analysis video. Hey, everything went well, 3-0, beautiful goals, Sofiane Amrabat had an amazing game. And yet, I made an announcement, a community post to you guys, my viewers, saying that I would not be posting a tactical analysis video after our midweek game, that I would wait until Saturday, because it was a unique opportunity. We were playing the same opposition back to back. Well, the actual reason, the thing that I did not say in that community post, is that I was actually preparing an analysis of the midweek game. But red flags started blinking all over me because I have noticed that the main reason why we won against Crystal Palace in midweek was because of two things: positional play and off-the-ball movement. And I started asking myself, hey, Mr. Scarlet Report, where was this positional play and where were these off-the-ball movements during the game against Burnley? So I was like, okay, let's wait this out. If we beat Crystal Palace on Saturday, using positional play and off-the-ball movement, then I can make an emphatic tactical analysis video. And I can say, well, guys, I can say for sure that we have turned a corner. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we haven't turned a corner. Let's analyze. Okay, so let's start with the good stuff. Let's start by looking at one of the goals that we scored against Crystal Palace in midweek. This goal right here has all the hallmark of an Erik Ten Hag team. And let's look at all of the things that the players did right. So as you can see here in the build-up play, we do have the two center backs over here. Mason Mount coming into the Christian Eriksen role over here. And then you have Casemiro with Diogo Dalot coming in, forming that two center midfield partnership right in front of the defense. As you can see, as Diogo Dalot is coming here, Amrabat, who was the left back, is actually pushing further forward. So let's skip forward. Okay, so as you can see here, Amrabat is moving into this half space right here. So he's actually occupying the left back, the right back, the right-sided center back, as well as the right-sided midfielder right here, who, as you can see, he's looking over his shoulder. So he's gonna retreat back because he's worried about Amrabat over here. This allows Garnacho and later on Mason Mount to have a lot of time on the ball. As you can see here, Diogo Dalot is already identifying an opportunity further forward, and we're gonna see what he's gonna do with that opportunity. Now, Mason Mount gets the ball, Diogo Dalot is closer, Casemiro also is identifying, trying to see where his teammates are. But the beauty of this goal is here. As you can see, Mason Mount with that pass, this is positional perfection from Pellistri and Diogo Dalot, because Pellistri is going wide, creating space through the half spaces that, of course, Diogo Dalot, coming from a deep position, is going to attack and exploit. One pass, beautiful. Garnacho comes into the penalty spot over here, and then that's it. 1-0 Manchester United. This was a beautiful goal, beautiful team goal, but also it was created because of off-the-ball movement. These players were positioned well, and they moved in a very smart and effective way. They were creating spaces for each other, creating spaces for themselves. This is why we scored this goal. Now, in the game, in the Premier League, we did not see any of this. We saw even worse. Now, the first thing I'm going to point your attention to is Dalot over here. From the right back, he's actually sprinting towards this area, and we're going to see how that's really a poor choice. Why did he do that? And the other thing is, of course, Amrabat, who is here occupying that number 6 position from left back. But of course, look at him. He is boxed between 6 Crystal Palace players. I don't care whether you're Zidane or Paul Scholes, you are not receiving the ball in this area. So what happens here? Amrabat, now here we do have a positional redundancy because Diogo Dalot is running exactly where Bruno Fernandes is. But here, as you can see, Amrabat cannot receive the ball, and we have space here. One of Diogo Dalot or Bruno Fernandes should have stepped into this area to create again that pair of two midfielders like we've seen in the midweek game before that Garnacho goal, to create more passing options. All of the teams that play well with inverted wing backs, teams like Spurs or Brighton, for example, they always create a box when they have the ball of 2 defenders, 2 midfielders, or 2 defenders, 3 midfielders, right? Every team has a different configuration, but you need more options here than just one. Because ultimately, playing with an inverted wing back is supposed to allow you to do one thing, and it is to play vertically. That's the power of it. And if you cannot do that, then it turns out to be just an aesthetic move. And somewhat, it looks like you are a little, too pretentious, because it doesn't serve any purpose whatsoever. So here, of course, look, Amrabat is trying to find space, he's trying to move, he's fully aware of the space around him, but he knows that he cannot receive the ball here. And the players here, Casemiro, Lindelof, Varane, they cannot pass the ball to him. But look, Diogo Dalot and Bruno Fernandes, one of them should have been here. If you are here, you can receive the ball, give it back to Amrabat, move into empty space, and then you can just beat the press that Crystal Palace are building here. But none of that happens, and we end up doing nothing. But here, what really frustrates me with this Manchester United team is that they show the mistake in the same game and the solution, and yet they don't do the solution consistently. So let's see what happens here. Again, same shape. The only difference is that Amrabat is part of the defenders while Casemiro is here. Look at what's going to happen. Bruno Fernandes has already signaled to Diogo Dalot that he's going to receive the ball. It's not in this footage. I'm trying to make my clips shorter, but he signaled to him. It was like, Diogo, wait for this. And then he comes deep. You know, exactly what I said he should be doing in the previous clip. Look at this, beautiful pass. Now what this does is that it pushes Pellistri and Højlund towards the right-hand side, up over here, which means that Mason Mount can actually attack this space over here. So Diogo Dalot to Bruno Fernandes, he identifies Mason Mount in this pocket, beautiful pass, pushes it back towards Casemiro to Rashford, and then we are able to put the ball in dangerous positions and involve our most dangerous players. But we were not able to do this consistently. And Diogo Dalot, his off-the-ball movement is very good. Look at this, with just one quick run, that's it. And then Pellistri, that's it, guys. It's just simple football. Just move into empty areas. And again, this is reminiscent of what we've seen against Crystal Palace in midweek, with Pellistri creating that width and then Dalot attacking the half spaces. But again, we did not do enough of this. But we could have scored goals if we had created more patterns like these. Again, the players are capable of that, and yet they don't do it often enough. Now let's look again at Dalot and Pellistri over here. Now look how wide they are. Both of them look like a traditional winger and fullback. And as you can see here, they cannot receive the ball. Nothing is happening. We are static. And again, there are like 20 seconds of footage in this same clip that I did not include because it's just boring. But Lindelof and Varane was just passing it to each other for 20 seconds before this happens. Now look here, Dalot and Pellistri are simply not involved in the game. There is nothing interesting happening here. And yet, Pellistri, look, by making this little move, coming in inside and leaving Dalot wide, what's going to happen is that, look, Mitchell comes towards him. The Crystal Palace players are a little bit confused. And now we are creating a passing lane right here for Diogo Dalot to exploit. With his pace, with his dribbling ability, something could have come of it. But of course, Varane was a little slow in making that pass and nothing came out of it. But we are capable of these patterns. And yet, we did not do them nearly enough against Crystal Palace in the Premier League. And then here, because the question always comes down to, does Erik ten Hag actually know this? And let's see what happens here. This actually, the moment I saw this, I was like, okay, I have to include this in the video. Again, the ball comes wide. Now, as you can see here, Marcus Rashford, Casemiro over here, Mason Mount. Look at Erik ten Hag. Okay, so he's pointing, he's looking at Marcus Rashford. He's saying, Marcus Rashford, this is where you have to be. Why? Because Marcus Rashford, if he made this run, what would happen is a domino effect. Basically, he's going to take Joaquin Anderson with him, opening up this space where either Lindelof or Casemiro could come in. Mason Mount could find them with an easy diagonal pass, and then they can play a through ball to Marcus Rashford, who's making a run in behind the defense, who we know is his strength. Marcus Rashford is unplayable in that kind of situation. And Erik ten Hag, he knows that. Listen, anything that I show you in these videos, anything that any tactical analyst shows you on YouTube, I can guarantee you that Erik ten Hag and his staff see 10 times, maybe 20 times that amount. Erik ten Hag, this is a professional tactician, a professional manager. Of course, he knows that. But as you can see, the players simply are not following. So the question here is, who is to blame? So a few days ago, I posted a community poll asking you to vote on whether you still have faith in Erik ten Hag. And 4,500 of you voted, and the majority of you, 86% of you, say that yes, they still have faith in Erik ten Hag, and so do I. But I have to admit though, that in this game, while of course I'm not calling for Erik ten Hag to be fired, it's far too soon for that, Erik ten Hag has to take the blame, because I think that the players looked confused on the pitch. They looked like so many of our players were trying to do so many things at the same time, and it just didn't work. Things have to be much simpler on the pitch tactically in order for them to be effective. You know, the KISS method, keep it simple and stupid, you know? But I have to also admit, and this is my olive branch to Erik ten Hag, is that the conditions of that haven't materialized at Manchester United. We have to talk about the elephant in the room. We're missing 10 to 12 key players due to injuries. Some of our players, like Lisandro Martinez, have played with pain against Brighton and against Bayern Munich, through the pain. with serious injuries. And that hurts the team in so many obvious ways and less obvious ones. Obviously, you are missing quality players, you're missing talent, you're missing certain profiles that can give you an edge over the opposition. Also, some of your players are coming back, but they are not fully fit. Also, you have some players back and then you lose some players. For example, we had Reguilon after we lost Luke Shaw, but then as we thought we were having Amrabat, a defensive midfielder, we lost Reguilon. So Amrabat had to play as a makeshift left back, right? But also, the biggest reason, and which ties to what we've seen and what we talked about in this video, is that it hurts your ability to build partnerships and chemistry between the players. The players have to play together. The partnership between an attacking midfielder and a striker is key. A right back and a right winger, it's important. A defensive midfielder and the two center backs, both defensively and in terms of the build-up. The players have to play with each other consistently in order to build that chemistry, because ultimately positional play and off-the-ball movement relies a lot on anticipation and reading of the game. And part of anticipating a situation is, of course, anticipating what your teammates are going to be doing. And you can only start doing that the more you play with them and the more you understand how they play. So I think two things have to happen. First of all, our medical staff has to really up their games. How come we have so many injuries? We have to start getting our players back. And the second thing is that Erik ten Hag has to simplify his tactics. Just simplify it to 3 principles. When you build up, have 2 central midfielders in front of the defense, as I've shown. When one inverted wing back comes in, the other inverted wing back goes up. The 2 wide players, the right winger and the right back, have to create some interesting patterns where one creates width, the other one attacks the half spaces. And then, of course, the defenders have to be encouraged to make risky passes that break through the lines. Just these 3 principles. Focus the tactics on these 3 principles and everything's gonna be fine. We do have the players. We do have quality. And we can hurt teams. We just have to get back to basics, and we have to build that chemistry and that confidence in the squad. So anyway, guys, what do you think about this? Please let me know in the comment section below. Until next time, cheers.